Hello, welcome back to another FPL video. Hope everyone is doing well. Today, we're going to be looking at really targeting that game week 26 with a free hit draft. Looking at the best players for this game week. If you're new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily FPL content. Hit the like button if you do enjoy the video. Well, let's get straight on into this one. So, with this free hit draft, I'm going to try and keep it between 102 and 103 million, as I think that's kind of, a good estimate of what most people have. We're going to go straight away and fill in the kind of essential players that I think you should have for this game. Fernandez going in there first. You just can't not have him in your team, even if you're not going to captain him. He just picks up so many points. Already got 190 this season. Is comfortably going to break that 200 barrier and could even get to 300 by the end of the season. Then the next best player I think for this double game week, and there's a bit of controversy about him. There's a lot of discussion going on in terms of form versus fixtures, but for me it's Harry Kane. He looks like a great option. I definitely would be attacking him for this double game week. Now, in terms of the rest of the forwards, I think it's a very interesting one because there's a lot of forwards that I would kind of like in my team for this double game week. There's a hell of a lot to choose from. I think the main four that I would pick out would be Harry Kane, who we've got in there, Jamie Vardy, Calvert-Lewin, and Ollie Watkins. I'm going to go with Calvert-Lewin as my kind of second pick. I actually think that he's got really good fixtures to target. Southampton have been looking poor of late. Just conceded 3 against Leeds, and mind they've just played midweek and then they play again at the weekend. Calvert-Lewin has had a bit of time off. He obviously had the injury, but that kind of won't have taken away from his fitness. So I think Calvert-Lewin could be raring to go and playing West Brom in that second fixture, who he scored a hat-trick against earlier on in the season. It could be a lot of points for Calvert-Lewin. Then the third striker we're going to go for is Jamie Vardy. Now, obviously, if you kind of come to the end of this draft and you can't afford Vardy and you have to go for the likes of Watkins, I think Watkins is a perfectly good replacement. But Vardy, for me, just offers a bit more going forward. And we also know he's on the penalties and just, generally should be scoring more goals than Watkins, a part of a Leicester side that's really gunning for the Champions League, currently sitting third in the table. Then we're going to move on to the midfield, and I think there's a really interesting discussion to be had over the Manchester City assets. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne has just come back from injury, could be a very good asset. Gundogan as well has been absolutely smashing it, and Sterling has been picking up quite a few points as well. Personally, what I do is wait and see what the lineup is for the Champions League game. If the likes of Foden, the likes of Mahrez and Bernardo Silva miss out, we could then see them play both games for this double game week against West Ham and against Wolves. And if you have a midfielder like Bernardo Silva, like Mahrez, playing in both games in those fixtures, they could absolutely smash it. So what I'm going to do for the second midfielder spot is I'm just going to fill it with a Manchester City player. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go for Gundogan. However, I would keep a close eye on the Champions League fixture, see who plays, see who kind of gets subbed on, and I'd make a decision based on that. But I do think having a Manchester City attacking asset for this game week, especially if they do play both game weeks in a free hit, could be absolutely unbelievable. Then for the third midfielder spot, we're going to go for Harvey Barnes, another Leicester asset. I just think Leicester have been absolutely smashing it of late. Harvey Barnes has got 2 back-to-back double-figure hauls. They've got Arsenal and they've got Burnley in the double game week. Yes, Arsenal, they've been playing okay recently, and Burnley aren't the easiest side to break down. However, I just think with the way that Leicester are playing, they're going to absolutely smash it in the double game, and I think Barnes is definitely one to own. Then that fourth midfielder spot is going to be the last kind of playing midfielder we're going to have. The fifth midfielder spot is literally just going to be filled with fodder because it's a free hit. We're not looking long term. So you can literally just put fodder in the final midfielder and the 2 final defenders, because the plan for this would be to play a 3-4-3. Maybe have give yourself a little bit of cover if a player gets injured, but most likely because these players are playing 2 games, even if they get subbed, they'll play the next game, so you won't really have to worry about giving yourself cover on the bench. So for the fourth midfielder spot, it really is dependent on your strategy. You could go for any one of the likes of Son, Salah if you can afford him, or even a double up on one of the Manchester City assets. Just the way that Manchester City have been playing of late, they've been smashing it. One thing to say though is that Manchester City are very much already kind of on cruise control. We saw in the Arsenal game, they went 1-0 up and they just kind of stopped. So I think at least having one Manchester City attacker and one Manchester City defender is pretty essential. However, doubling up, if they're just going through this cruise control where they're just winning each game 1-0, you're not going to get the most out of this double game week. And so for that fourth midfielder spot, I'm just going to lob Son in there, as I really personally do like the double up of Kane x Son for this double game week. But, the likes of Salah could be very good. Got the Sheffield United fixture, and in Chelsea in the reverse fixture, or in the past kind of 3 fixtures, he's been scoring like a brace in every single game. So I think that Salah could be a decent one as well, but I'm going to go for Son. And just to kind of fill us out in the midfield, I'm just going to add a 4.5 million dud option. Doesn't really matter who this player is. You know, it's just going to be a player who just sits there and is basically going to allow you to create a correct team for the double game week. Then in terms of the defense, and we're only really looking at 3 defenders because we're playing a 3-4-3. We're looking at the 3 defenders who we can really attack this double game week with. I'm going to go straight in there and put Diaz, as discussed earlier. I think that 2 kind of Manchester City assets is very, very good. 1 attacker and 1 defender, or 1 kind of attacking asset. And Diaz is probably the most likely out of all the Manchester City assets to see both games. That's why he's in there. Cancelo offers a lot more attacking potential, and John Stones is cheaper. But because we're on a free hit, I don't think we have to matter too much about price, as long as you've got the value of the team and can then just put the really, really kind of cheap players in there to prop the rest of the team up. Now, for the second defensive asset, we're going to go with a player who I've been discussing a lot about, who I've kind of made a very early call that I think he's going to be essential, or could become essential, and that is a third Leicester asset, and that is Ricardo Pereira, who's basically playing right wing against Aston Villa. And I mean, yeah, the attacking returns are definitely there for Pereira to go and kind of take a hold and absolutely smash it to bits. If Leicester can keep clean sheets, and they have kept 9 so far this season, he could be an unbelievable asset for this double game. Now, for the third defender spot, and basically the final defender spot that actually matters, you've got, for me, kind of 3 main choices, and that would be Digne, Reguilon and Target. Or you could basically kind of rotate between all of these out of the likes of Diaz, Pereira, Digne, Target and Reguilon. I think those kind of 5 are the best defensive assets. Reguilon offers really, really good attacking potential, and so does Digne, to be fair. And I actually kind of back Everton maybe a little bit more to get the clean sheet, even though on paper you'd probably argue they have tougher fixtures. I can definitely see Digne picking up assists in that West Brom game or the Southampton game. He's pretty much been playing as a left winger of late, and that combination of Digne x Calvert-Lewin, you can see it happening. So for me, Digne would be the third defender. Then you've basically got your 3-4-3 there with Diaz, Pereira, Digne, Fernandes, Gundogan, Barnes, Son, Kane, Calvert-Lewin and Jamie Vardy. I'd personally still probably captain Kane, although, you know, Jamie Vardy, Calvert-Lewin, even Fernandes, or maybe even Gundogan could be very, very good options. So I think you've got a lot of choice there, and for me, you kind of cover a lot of the bases and really attack the double gaming with this team. So we're going to fill out the final 2 defender spots with dud options and then move on into the goalkeeper spot. So for the goalkeeper, for me, there's only really one man who you can go for, and that is Aston Villa's Emiliano Martinez, playing against Leeds and playing against Sheffield. I maybe don't expect them to get a clean sheet against Leeds. However, I do expect him to get quite a few save points in that game. With the way that Leeds like to play, they get a lot of shots off, so I can see him picking up save points. We've seen him earlier on in the season picking up save points and picking up bonus points as well, even when they do concede. Then they play against Sheffield, who you can definitely see them keeping a clean sheet, so we could see Martinez Hall. You've also got the likes of Lloris, who could be a very good option to target. Personally, I'm still going with Martinez just for kind of save points and bonus point potential that has the potential to actually really haul in the game. You could also go for Edison, as we kind of know that he's guaranteed to start in both Man City's games, and Man City are very, very likely to pick up clean sheets in both of those. Then we'll just fill out the final goalkeeper spot with a dud goalkeeper, and there's a free hit. You've got 11 players there who I think really, really attack the double game week, coming in with a value of 102.4 million. I think that is very, very reasonable. There are definitely ways you can also bring that down. You could go Digne down to the likes of Target, Calvert-Lewin down to Watkins, even Vardy down to Watkins if you really don't have that much money. But I think, you know, this covers most of the basis and really helps you attack that double game. If you have enjoyed this quick look at a free hit team for the double game week 26, please don't forget to hit that like button. Leave a comment down below if you're thinking of hitting that free hit button, and you know, potential players you're thinking of bringing in, and let me know also what player you're going to captain for this week, because that is a massive decision. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily FPL content, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.